Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
So I've been plugged into the metaphysical world for quite some time, and I have to honestly tell you that I don't know too many people who know more than this lady right here about things that are metaphysical, like oracle cards and intuition and mediumship and crystals. She blows my mind every time we talk about it. Sheinata Carn Hall is back with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good today. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. You're down south. I'm trying to remember, South Carolina?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm in Charleston, South Carolina.
Gotcha. Yeah. How's the gotta ask because we're in a change of season. What's the weather like down there?
The weather is like the mid 70s to 80s during the day, but it's not as humid. It gets really humid here. So it feels much cooler. At night, it's in the 50s.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. All right. So it's like 71 degrees here in the New York area and same deal in the 50s at night. But you get more of that than we do because it was in the 50s during the day for the last week or so. So we're finally back in the sunshine. Well, great to hear it's good there. And we're going to talk about oracle cards. And you may have heard of them before. Why don't you give us the example or give us the difference between tarot cards, because everybody has heard of those, and oracle cards?
Okay. The oracle cards, they're designed to give us a deeper understanding of what is going on in our life. So it gives us a deeper meaning. It helps us to understand there's certain things that we have to overcome on a spiritual level in order to move forward in life too. And then the tarot cards, they basically tell us any position that we can play on, in our everyday life. So sometimes the tarot cards can get a little bit deeper, but the oracle cards, when you deal with the oracle cards, they just go straight to the source of where everything is coming from.
Is it for you, somebody who is very plugged into reading them, is it harder to read tarot cards? Is it harder to read oracle cards, or is it kind of the same?
Well, for me, it's the same. But oracle cards, particularly the reason I wanted to talk about them today is because oracle cards, like this is my crystal oracle deck. It's not but stones on here. So the oracle deck takes more power of the intuition. Whereas the tarot card deck, you can kind of look at the pictures. And like you was touching on last episode, you were talking about how people can be reading the meanings, or people can like keep the meanings of tarot cards in their head. So in a way, sometimes you might not completely be relying on your intuition. Whereas with the oracle cards, you just see pictures. And so that's really connected to your intuition because you're going into your psyche to get the message.
Wow. See, I wasn't aware of that. I thought that
So
oracle.
I have a tarot deck here too.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
So I can visually show the difference also. See, this is the tarot. See, you see pictures.
Yep.
And it's like it's a lot of messages in here, but with the pictures, it's kind of easier to come up with what's going on. Whereas the oracle cards, they being that they have a deeper meaning, it goes deeper into your intuition to be able to decipher the messages that the cards are sending you.
And
like this is a colorful oracle deck that I have. So these I like too because look at all the colors in there. It's so many messages in that. And so I like the oracle decks too because the oracle decks they kind of play with you a little bit to grow your intuition when you're doing readings from them.
so, Sheinata, show me what you showed me initially, the oracle cards that just had like a symbol, like it was nothing
Oh,
there.
like my crystals and stones.
Those are crystals and stones. Okay, so I wasn't sure because I couldn't really see it from here. So, wow. Okay. So that's got to be very challenging to read, or has it come natural for you?
It comes pretty natural for me. It's my number one deck. It's the deck that got me popular doing readings around my area. And and I use other decks, but it's like my main deck. But it's because it's easy for me to read because I first started growing my intuition with the crystals and stones. So somehow I made a connection with them so that when I look at them, I can be able to decipher the messages for the people that I'm doing the reading for.
Wow.
And I can even pull a couple of cards from my crystal oracle deck today to talk about the coming out of the Mercury retrograde, or maybe the Aries full moon that's going to be on Sunday. You know, I could use my oracle deck to talk about that too. So the oracle deck, it's the main one I use, and it's pretty interesting because I guess that's what people think when they get readings from me face to face. Like, how is she getting these messages and knowing what? How can she know this stuff from these pictures or these crystals? So it's like interesting to me too, you know.
I love that. Why don't we pull them out? Let's see. You know, because we did just get out of the retrograde, you know, literally a few days ago.
I do feel like with the Malachite, a lot of people had inner conflict with the Mercury retrograde that brought a lot of inner conflict. But we needed to have that inner conflict because Malachite is also a stone that puts us into alignment with our soul path. It deals with our sacral chakra. So the inner conflict was to help us get into more alignment with the direction that we need to go, the direction that'll bring us to our highest potential at this present moment in our life.
Gotcha.
And so the rhodozite was there too. So that's telling me that, you know, it was a lot of healing of the heart. It was a lot of looking back over things and putting pieces together in order to move forward. And I feel like that retrograde, it gave us the opportunity to be able to gain a deeper understanding of what some of the things that happened to us in our past so that we can put whatever wisdom we need to put with that to move forward.
So I want to ask you, even the last thing you just said there, the cards that you pulled, what crystals were on those cards and what does that signify? What does that mean?
Well, the first card was malachite. So also malachite is a money stone. It's a stone that deals with the heart and it deals with money. So some of the things that we went through during the Mercury retrograde, it was to help us to get more in alignment to you know, to attract our abundance too. Because this is a stone that deals with money and the sacral. So I would say that some of the things that we went through that were pretty challenging, being that this is coming up the rhodozite, you know, like we was putting the pieces together. This was connected to our heart, transforming past pains. So I just kind of get messages when I look at them, but I also know the nature of the energy of the crystal, what chakra is connected to. I also maybe get messages of the colors and also numbers. It's numbers on this card. So that's how I was the 5 that's on here. That told me that the Mercury retrograde it helped us to transform a lot of inner conflict because the 5 is a number that deals with conflict, but it can also bring us victory too.
Wow, this is not for beginners. You've been doing this a
Oh
long
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying. My main goal today was to try to give an example of the difference between the oracle cards and the tarot cards.
gotcha. Yeah, and I'm trying to go back by memory, but I've often heard that the tarot cards can be a little darker. I don't know if I have that right, where it's a little more serious, where the others are open to interpretation, and sometimes some tarot cards can be maybe a little scary, intimidating.
Yeah, sometimes people do say that, but I think tarot cards and oracle cards, I do think they're dark, but in the sense that it goes into the recesses of our psyche, the dark part of our mind, and it helps bring forth the things into our third eye, into our mind's eye, so that we can be able to gain a deeper understanding of what's happening in our life, what we need to transform to have a better state of well-being. So it helps us to be able to look for answers in other places. And it helps us to realize that those answers are really deep within us if we're willing to open up and look. I think sometimes people might think it's darker because, you know, the way society is set up, it's kind of like you kind of not, it's kind of like to turn a blind eye, maybe to things that might not be as pleasant, to keep you see it's a connection there. So it's kind of like A lot of times people need to confront their shadow aspects. This is about people confronting their shadow aspects too. This is why it's scary to them. Because I've had people say, oh yeah, I don't want to get the tarot card reading because I don't know what it's going to say. It might say something bad. And so automatically I'm kind of thinking, so I think that people should be open to this because it'll help them to understand aspects of themselves that they weren't necessarily understanding.
Gotcha.
So it's not dark, and if people would give it a chance to experience it, um, they will see how insightful it is. But actually, if you really think about it, everything comes out of the dark. I mean, a baby comes out of a womb. So we got to be open to things, because there's correlations in a lot of different things. So if it didn't come out the dark, how did anything manifest on this planet? How did the planet and the universe even manifest? It all came from the darkness. So it's like about people getting comfortable with that. But think about it. That's why we having these eclipses in Scorpio and Taurus. And that's why Saturn and Jupiter had to have that opposition. These type of energies, it's designed right now for us we got to be able to pull up things that is deep down that might not look good, but we need to face these things so that we can transform our personal energy and transform the energy of the world around us.
Thank you for bringing up that point because we all come out of the darkness in some regard. There's always light, even if you're in a dark space. We always have to remember that. Um, Instant feedback we're getting from Lisa in Camden, New Jersey. And she says, I'm having challenges with one of my kids. I'm a big believer in the power of the universe supporting us. Can you give any insight? So I guess she's
Okay, I just got a message just looking at these two cards that I just pulled already. I feel like maybe her child needs to get more physical. Her child needs to get into some type of sport or some type of thing where they're using their creativity or using their solar plexus. So it would be art or it would be some type of sport, um, some type of working together. Yeah, I feel like it's something about the heart space opening up more. Oh yeah, because with the cucumber jasper, this is also telling me opening up, but you can help your child open because these are all cards dealing with the heart because this dealing with the heart too. So I feel like opening up the heart space more. I feel like your child it needs to be like I feel like your child needs to love themselves more. This is coming from it needs to be more. Your child doesn't you needs to see him or herself in a more positive light. And
Mm.
sometimes we do that through our creativity, by doing art, by doing different things that bring out creative things, abilities inside of us that we might not have knew that was there, but they can help us to gain confidence and recognition in a different way. Because see, the concombre jasper, this is a heart stone, but it has some bit of purple in it. And so being that it has a bit of purple in it, it's telling me that this is the crown chakra, a new patterns have to be created. So it's about you like coming up with and thinking of new ways to introduce your child to interact with different things that'll open up your child's heart space to love themselves more, what they have to offer to the world, their creativity. And you got to think about the world. If your child on social media, my children don't be on social media. These kind of things they make sometimes children it can affect children in a way where they feel like, oh, these people are doing all this. What do I have? I don't. So it's about helping your child tap into their creative ability, and it'll help them to love themselves, him or her to love themselves more, and it'll help start things moving in a more positive light. It's definitely, I feel like you can introduce more patterns.
Wow. And you get that from the cards, like just interpreting from what you're seeing there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How long you been doing this?
I've been doing the tarot card readings. Well, I opened up my extrasensory ability 2015.
Wow.
2015. I've been doing it since then.
And Sheinata, before that, did you Always love crystals. I know we briefly skimmed upon this, but I'm blown away how you interpret the cards. And I have to say, I think I've said it before. You are so clear in terms of what you say and how you interpret the cards. It's like you're there. You got it. And you read something for me a couple of podcasts back. It was spot on. It was like completely right.
Thank you.
Yeah, real
Thank
good.
you.
Real good. Did you have an interest in crystals even as a kid?
No, I didn't necessarily have an interest in crystals, but I definitely had dream catchers. I would always listen to flute music. I played a flute.
Wow.
I always sat out in nature because I grew up in the country, so I was always outside, grounding my energy. I didn't wear shoes a lot until I got older, or if I had to go somewhere. So I was always like really interacting in nature.
Wow. I have a follow-up. Lisa just checks in on instant feedback and says, "Thank you very much. I can't believe you said getting my child involved in sports because she recently expressed an interest in that, and I'm trying to push for it. Thank you so much." You just said that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's going to really help her. That is going to be awesome. You're going to see a new child a year from now, a new child. And it's right, like, you know what the Malachite, this is saying the Malachite is talking about the soul path. I feel like that's perfect for your child because you're like it's going to help your child transition. I also hear this is adolescence and stuff going on too, like these type of things. The Kundalini kicking in. That's a good way to help the child know how to manage the Kundalini, at an early age, like putting them in the sports.
Yeah. And what did you say before about your kids and social media?
Yeah, they're not on social media or anything. They don't have a desire to be on those things because sometimes that can be really stressful for younger people.
I don't know how old are your kids, can I ask?
My oldest son, he's 19, and my youngest son is 15.
Wow. I don't know if it would be different if you had a girl, because my son's not on social media, but my daughter 14 is, and I wish I could have pulled the plug on that a long time ago because it just presents challenges.
Yeah, it does. It kind of gets them confused with their identity.
Exactly. And reality, what's really,
Yeah,
you take it. I know we're digressing here for a second, but if you take a look at some of the pictures, of who, somebody would aspire to be, they don't realize, a teen doesn't realize that there's like 1,000 pictures taken by a professional photographer with perfect lighting, makeup, and everything for one picture. And you want to, I'm trying to look like that, as a kid. It's
yeah. And see, that's how I was when I was saying before, like we going into the golden ages now. That's why the crystals showing up, the tarot cards. So it's like it's a shift that's going to go on that's going to help eventually that's going to balance that out, balance that energy out where people will start being more comfortable with who they are, as a person.
so
Because that's not real. I always tell people too, like the shift is taking us back to my like my mother is my mentor. Like the people that we see each and every day. Like somehow we separated from that. We need to be each other heroes. You know,
I got
that's how we build a better community because that's more real. That's somebody you can interact with and stuff like that.
Well, to your point, because of social media and also because of COVID, we kind of all went off on our own different directions instead of being together and even saying, yeah, that person, they're my mentor. I respect them and they kind of guided me along the way. Even if you didn't speak to them, you feel the energy from them or you respect what they do.
Yeah.
And I believe it's all about energy. Um, did you were you the one that told me a while back that there's a major shift going on? Like a big shift that started like 10 plus years ago that is resetting us in a different direction? Or do you know about that? I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, it's called the we have 4 cycles. The planet herself, Earth, she goes through 4 different cycles. And so the cycle that we left was like the dark ages or the age of metal, and we are moving into the golden age. And when we're in the golden age, our planet travels through a part of the universe called the photon band. And when we go into the photon band, it's stellar light. And being that we're going to be in stellar light for 2,000 years, that means that we're going to wake up and connect with our 9-dimensional selves. So it's like up until this point, we kind of like was more so learning a lot about the dark, but now it's like we're transforming and we're taking that darkness and transforming it into light. We're going to like learn how to be better people. We're going to learn how to tap in more and look within ourselves more versus looking outside of ourselves to find direction, to get gratification, like these different types of things. So it's a total transformation on the planet. And it's happening in the earth herself too, because you can see what the planet warming up and cooling down and all of these different things and the solar flares. All of these are signs that we're in a different part now and that, things are changing. So it's a natural cycle. We always in the photon band when we enter the age of Aquarius and the age of Leo. All of the other polarity of signs, we're in something called a galactic night. We travel through a part of the universe where it's continuously dark. And so now we're going to start waking up because our body changes too. It gets more crystal-like, like the crystal. Our bodies are more denser when we're out in space in the night. So it's really beautiful. It's just going to grow and it's going to help us to resolve a lot of different things that's going on our planet now. People are going to start having a better state of mind, more better well-being. It's just going to be really good. And this is just the beginning because 1988, our universe started coming into the photon band. In 2012, the Earth went into the photon band. So see, if you think about it, on that level, like that disc, all of it got to come through to get into the light. So, and we're going to be here for 2,000 years. So we're going to start remembering things that maybe we have forgotten. So that's about that darkness again, that dark energy. We're going to start the part that we can't see. So being that we're coming into the photon band and it's total light, and the photon band gives us light that's stellar. So when we're in the galactic night, it's not stellar light. Stellar means that it doesn't change. It's continuously high vibrational. So where we're going means that, it's kind of pushing everybody on the planet to somehow transform.
You said Age of Aquarius, and I was like, that's it. That's what I heard. It's that, and it takes a long time for that to move its way forward. I mean, it's like 20 years in the making, but now the changes are happening very soon for all of us. And just like you said, it's a big deal. I think it's a big deal, right?
Yeah, we're going to really get a chance to be human again. Eventually, as things go more, we're not going to be spending that much time. It's a lot of things. Okay, this is what I also want to say before I stop. It's a spiritual and technological evolution. So the tech going with us. So people going to be surprised what's coming out of this transformation with the tech too. The tech is going to take over a lot of stuff so that we can meditate, so that we can be at peace, so that we can really learn what a human life is. So it's gonna be good, but the tech, you can see the tech, like a lot of the stuff that's being manifested now. Tech is going to take over, but it's not going to be a bad thing. They're going to do a lot of the things that we used to do, and somehow the monetary and everything is going to balance out. Where the main goal is for us to have more time to develop ourselves as human beings and not be like a hamster on a wheel, our whole life.
I've been saying that for weeks now. It keeps coming up. The hamster on the wheel. It's just like, rinse and repeat.
We all feel like that sometimes.
Yes, yes. And it's interesting how you said that the tech is going to actually support us in terms of moving ourselves spiritually forward, whereby what did we just do? Sheinata, a couple of minutes ago, we were just, slapping social media. How it's
but it's like certain types of tech. When I say tech, like I'm talking about real techie. I'm talking about your cell phone only knows you. It knows somehow it connects with you. Like somebody can try to pick up your phone and use it. I mean, like the tech is going to connect to us in a certain way that we'll really own it. People can't hack it. it's going to somehow be connected to us in that way. So it's like different from social media.
It's going to be
It's
a
like,
good thing. It's going to be a good thing where it's going to support us and help us meditate and things like that.
yeah, we'll have longer lives. It's going to be a variety of different things because it's a lot of technologies right now, and it's going to be introduced very soon. And it's just going to be wonderful.
That's so great to hear. We're out of time. This is fascinating, and I'm glad we had the chance to help out Lisa today, and you enlighten us on how the cards work. Somebody wants to talk to you for whatever, a reading, insight, crystals. How do they do that?
They can go to my website, crystalmedicinehealing.wordpress.com. I do have a social media on Instagram. I'm at Sheinata Carn Hall, and on Facebook is Crystal Medicine Healing.
Say that one more time. Make sure I got it right. Crystal
Medicine Healing.
Gotcha. On Facebook. Always great talking with you. It has been a pleasure, even during these podcasts. And I know we've inspired people, and definitely connect with Sheinata. If you're looking for answers, she's the one. Trust me. I got them. Lisa just did. And I wish you well. And
thank you.
The age of Aquarius. Let's embrace it.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.